Hi everyone and welcome. Recently I built a 24-volt battery using 320 amp-hour lithium iron phosphate cells. I put 8 of those in series. I used the Seplos V3 150 BMS. Don't worry, this is not one of those videos where someone goes, "Look at me, I built my own battery." There are more than enough of those already. In this video I will be focusing on the heating. As you know, or maybe you don't, you can't charge lithium iron phosphate cells below freezing. And since I will be using the battery in my RV, heating is crucial. This is the Seplos BMS Studio. It shows the current temperature of the battery, which is 15.7 degrees Celsius, that is. I'm changing the settings so that the heater turns on if the temperature is below 16 degrees and off again if the temperature reaches 17 degrees. In the System Monitor tab you can see the heater switching on and off again. That's good, because the heater is only supposed to be switched on while charging. Let me switch on the power supply. As expected, the heating FET comes on after just a few seconds. In this test, the cells are still warm enough to be charged. Let's trick the BMS into thinking they are too cold by changing some more settings. When we go back to the System Monitor tab, the BMS shows Charge Under Temperature Protection and the charge FETs are off. This means that charging is now blocked. Did you spot my mistake? I set the charge under temperature recovery to 18, but I told the BMS to stop charging at 17 degrees. So the cells will never reach 18 degrees and the BMS will never recover from the charge under temperature protection. Off camera I configured the BMS to keep on heating until the cells reach 19 degrees. If we switch on the power supply again, nothing happens because the BMS blocks charging. The display on the power supply shows there is no current flowing at all. How can we recover from this? Since we are not charging, the heater will not be turned on, right? Well, that's what I thought. I thought I hit a bug in the BMS, but as it turns out, the BMS waits 30 minutes before the heater is switched on. I will fast forward those 30 minutes. The heater FET is switched on, and the 3 amps needed for the heater are coming from the power supply, not from the battery, so that's good. Now we wait for the cell temperature to rise. This also takes quite some time, so I will fast forward that as well. There we go. The cells are warm enough to be charged again, the BMS turns on the FETs and all is good. It took me quite some time to figure out the BMS waits for 30 minutes to switch on the heater after an attempt is made to charge the battery. I didn't find it in the manual and the people at Seplos couldn't tell me either. I discovered it by accident. I left the room with the power supply switched on, came back an hour later and noticed the heater was on. Then I looked at the log file to see what had happened, and then I figured it out. So hopefully this video will save you some time and frustration. If it does, or you found it interesting or entertaining, give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.